I loved our front yard and the shrubs and the beautiful dogwood tree and enjoyed standing across the street in our garden and looking over at the front. But after the skid steer came and LP started renovating the front, I had a hard time looking at it because he cut parts of the dogwood tree off so he could drive his truck up because he wanted to have a driveway in the front. And he put this wood around the pond. I didn't really understand the point to that. He spent a lot of time on that. And so there's the rocks and the gravel that come from that and from working on that. And then we decided on a trailer. So LP worked on this area and he had a bobcat for, I really can't remember exactly how many weeks, but he got really sick from using the bobcat, I suspect from the diesel fuel. So after he used the Bobcat for a good long time, he got the skid steer, and you can see the river rock wall, part of it gone there. And he run the skid steer into this white fencing, and he started working on, he was working really on both sides of the road. And there's a picture again of a before picture. In the back, I mostly kept the blinds closed so I didn't have to look at the backyard. And here's a picture of what's left of the neighbor's bush that the birds just loved. And they really don't like the bush. They would really like it cut down, so they didn't complain about LP doing that. So we had this dumpster from December to June. So finally in June, they came and I was very grateful to be rid of that because we paid by the day to have the dumpster. So it was just one more expense that I was just very grateful to be rid of. Uh, so, uh, so that's what took place in June. So the tailgate was damaged from the 12-foot long boards that LP brought in, and he had the tailgate up, and the boards were propped up on top of the tailgate. And then when he tried to get the tailgate down, it damaged the tailgate. So anyhow, LP moved dirt around and moved this in front of the trailer as a deterrent, so it'd be less likely that someone would try to steal the trailer, was his idea on that. And then he had boulders and dirt and rock and gravel and everything that he scooted over to the side, and some of it went over into the neighbor's yard. And the neighbor asked me to get all of it out that would be in the way of a dump truck coming in. They wanted to come over our driveway and dump some gravel to go around their shrubs. And they said they needed to do that in 2 days. So I went out and in one day shoveled the area that they wanted shoveled. And I also moved boulders that was there that was in their way, and concrete block that was all mixed in with the dirt. So I separated the dirt, put it in piles, and and moved by using a bar and a hand truck to move the boulders. So after LP used the Bobcat for a good while, he got very, very sick, and he coughed and he coughed from what I suspect from the diesel fuel. And then he ended up getting a poorly maintained skid steer that had a huge amount of the diesel fuel that was so bad I couldn't take the smell even across the road behind the greenhouse. It was just awful, awful, awful smell. So he did his thing in the back. He wanted a driveway in the back. He wanted a driveway in the front in our tiny little front yard. I kept the blinds closed most of the summer because the complete war zone that I called a war zone that LP was real happy with. Now there's a showing that I have no shrubs now, just stubs of shrubs. LP couldn't understand why I didn't want to look at the front yard anymore, and I didn't want to look at the backyard. He was so proud of his work. Luckily, I noticed LP had damaged the front right-hand side of Sparky's pen with the skid steer, and it had loosened the hardware cloth down at the bottom, and Sparky could have easily fallen out of his pen. And I found a piece of hardware cloth, and I repaired it for Sparky. Not only did LP get very sick on the Bobcat, he got very sick on the skid steer. And the fumes, oh, they were just unbelievable. I could not be anywhere in our backyard, front yard, or even across the road. The fumes from the diesel fuel was just horrendous. And the poorly maintained piece of junk, I don't believe should have been rented to anybody, but we ended up paying $6,000 for the skid steer use. Today is June the 28th, and I just want to share this story. Where's LP? What has happened to my husband? Who is he? I don't know him anymore. This is the new LP. I don't know who he is. Finally, after 6 weeks, around July the 2nd, LP called the man that rented the skid steer to him to come and get it.